Killers of the Flower Moon is a gripping narrative by David Grann that unravels a sinister conspiracy against the Osage Nation in the early 20th century. The book meticulously details a series of murders that took place in Osage County, Oklahoma, during the 1920s, shedding light on the broader issue of systemic corruption and racism. At the heart of the story is the Osage Indian Nation, who, after being displaced from their ancestral lands, discovered oil beneath their reservation. This sudden wealth made the Osage the wealthiest people per capita in the world, attracting envy and greed from outsiders. The narrative begins with the mysterious death of Molly Burkhart's sister, Anna Brown. Despite initial suspicions, it soon becomes apparent that Anna's death is just one in a string of murders targeting the Osage for their oil money. J. Edgar Hoover, then director of the newly formed FBI, takes an interest in the case, assigning Agent Tom White to investigate. White, a former Texas Ranger, assembles a team and begins uncovering a complex web of corruption involving local law enforcement, doctors, and lawyers. The conspiracy involves the manipulation of legal documents, poisoned whiskey, and orchestrated accidents to eliminate Osage heirs, allowing the murderers to gain control of their wealth. The depth of the conspiracy shocks even seasoned investigators. As the investigation progresses, the narrative delves into the history of the Osage Nation, highlighting their forced migration, struggles for justice, and resilience in the face of adversity. Grann skillfully weaves historical context into the true crime narrative, providing a nuanced understanding of the systemic issues that allowed the crimes to occur. The narrative also explores the role of the newly formed FBI in tackling organized crime and corruption. Hoover sees the Osage investigation as an opportunity to showcase the agency's capabilities and solidify its authority. Agent White faces numerous challenges, including resistance from local authorities and the dangers of confronting powerful figures involved in the conspiracy. Through meticulous research and interviews, Grann paints a vivid picture of the characters involved, from the victims to the perpetrators. The reader is introduced to individuals like William Hale, a charismatic rancher implicated in the murders, and the dogged determination of law enforcement officials seeking justice. The courtroom drama that ensues exposes the extent of the conspiracy and challenges prevailing racial attitudes of the time. The trial becomes a pivotal moment in the struggle for justice, highlighting the pervasive racism that allowed the perpetrators to exploit and victimize the Osage without consequence. Killers of the Flower Moon is not only a true crime narrative but also a powerful exploration of racism, greed, and the quest for justice. Grann's storytelling seamlessly blends historical research with compelling storytelling, offering readers a thought-provoking journey into a dark chapter of American history. The book ultimately serves as a poignant reminder of the ongoing need for justice and the recognition of historical injustices against indigenous communities. At its core, the novel explores themes of greed, racism, and the abuse of power. Grann meticulously details the sinister plot orchestrated by white settlers to exploit the Osage wealth, leading to a string of murders that went largely unpunished. The author skillfully intertwines historical facts with personal stories, creating a narrative that not only educates but also resonates emotionally. The narrative structure is compelling, with Grann weaving together the perspectives of law enforcement agents, journalists, and the Osage victims themselves. This multi-layered approach enriches the storytelling, providing a comprehensive view of the events and the impact they had on individuals and the community as a whole. One notable aspect is the meticulous research evident throughout the book. Grann's dedication to uncovering the truth is evident in his exploration of historical records, court transcripts, and interviews. This research not only adds credibility to the narrative but also highlights the atrocities committed against the Osage people. The novel also raises questions about justice and accountability, as the perpetrators of these heinous crimes often escaped punishment. It prompts readers to reflect on the systemic issues that allowed such injustices to occur and the lingering effects on the Osage community. Moreover, Grann skillfully examines the broader implications of the Osage murders, shedding light on the corrupt practices within law enforcement and the justice system during that era. The collusion between individuals in power and those seeking to exploit the Osage wealth unveils a dark chapter in American history that many may not be familiar with. In this analysis, we will delve into key themes, characters, and the author's narrative techniques, exploring how the book illuminates systemic issues and provides a nuanced perspective on justice and racism. The narrative unfolds against the backdrop of the Osage Indian Nation in the early 20th century. Grann skillfully contextualizes the Osage experience, from their forced displacement to the discovery of oil beneath their reservation. This historical foundation establishes the wealth disparity that makes the Osage prime targets for a conspiracy. By weaving this background into the narrative, Grann sets the stage for a deeper exploration of systemic issues and racial dynamics. At its core, the book explores themes of greed and exploitation. The Osage, after being dispossessed of their ancestral lands, find themselves targeted once again, this time for the vast oil wealth beneath their feet. The murderers exploit legal loopholes, poisoning methods, and manipulation of inheritance laws to acquire the Osage wealth. Grann meticulously details the lengths to which individuals went to secure their financial interests, exposing a ruthless underbelly of greed that transcends moral boundaries. The narrative reveals a pervasive culture of corruption and racism, both locally and at the federal level. Local law enforcement officials, doctors, and lawyers conspire to commit heinous crimes against the Osage with impunity. Grann sheds light on the systemic failures that allowed the conspiracy to flourish, emphasizing how deeply ingrained racism facilitated the victimization of the Osage people. The collusion of authorities in the crimes reflects a broader pattern of injustice against marginalized communities. The author skillfully introduces a cast of characters, each contributing to the unfolding drama. Molly Burkhart, an Osage woman whose family becomes a target, serves as the emotional anchor of the narrative. Through her eyes, readers witness the profound impact of the crimes on individual lives. Agent Tom White, leading the FBI investigation, represents the pursuit of justice in the face of formidable challenges. The portrayal of William Hale, one of the conspirators, captures the charisma and ruthlessness that defined those involved in the Osage murders. These character dynamics add depth to the narrative, allowing readers to engage emotionally with the historical events. The book explores the role of law enforcement in combating organized crime and corruption, particularly through the lens of the newly formed FBI. J. Edgar Hoover, driven by the desire to establish the FBI's credibility, seizes upon the Osage investigation as an opportunity. Agent Tom White's investigation becomes a test case for the fledgling agency, highlighting the challenges of confronting local corruption and the difficulties in bringing perpetrators to justice. This aspect of the narrative contributes to a broader understanding of the historical context in which the FBI emerged. The courtroom drama that unfolds during the investigation and trials exposes the legal and ethical ramifications of the crimes. Grann portrays the legal system as both a tool for justice and a reflection of the prevailing racial attitudes of the time. The Osage murder trials become a battleground where racial biases and systemic injustices are laid bare. The legal proceedings force a reckoning with the complexities of achieving justice in a society rife with discrimination. Grann employs a narrative structure that seamlessly weaves together historical exposition, true crime storytelling, and character development. The pacing is carefully calibrated, building suspense as the investigation unfolds. The author's attention to detail and extensive research are evident in the vivid descriptions of people, places, and events. Grann engages the reader by immersing them in the atmosphere of 1920s Oklahoma and skillfully balancing the broader historical context with the personal stories of those affected by the crimes. The book concludes by reflecting on the lasting impact of the Osage murders and their place in American history. Grann suggests that these crimes, though largely forgotten, are part of a broader pattern of exploitation and injustice against indigenous communities. The Osage experience serves as a lens through which readers can examine historical and contemporary issues of racism, greed, and the ongoing struggle for justice. In conclusion, Killers of the Flower Moon, is a compelling and thought-provoking exploration of a forgotten chapter in American history. David Grann's meticulous research and narrative skill bring the chilling events to life, inviting readers to confront the dark realities of systemic corruption, racism, and the exploitation of marginalized communities. The book not only serves as a historical account but also as a powerful testament to the resilience of the Osage people in the face of unimaginable adversity. The book's enduring significance lies in its ability to prompt reflection on systemic issues that persist today, making it a poignant contribution to both true crime literature and historical analysis.